Hi, I'm Councilmember Nancy Navarro, representing District 4. County Cable Montgomery is your information station for county government, programs, and news. Stay tuned for the next episode of Did You Know?
Hello, I'm Moran Lee. While life is generally quite predictable, there are those times when the unpredictable happens. From car accidents to household fires, from missing persons to water main breaks, from poisonous bites to neighborhood evacuations, Montgomery County citizens have seen their share of emergencies. Which is why you need to be prepared, not only by having a smoke detector or a full tank of gas, but the knowledge of how to react in an emergency. For example, if you suspect someone has fainted due to heat stroke, should you perform CPR on them, run to find an ice pack, or call 911 first? In this final episode of our three-part series called Emergency 101, public safety experts will explain what to do in all sorts of life-threatening situations. At the end of the show, look for contact information.
Code Orange Days are called Air Quality Action Days, and they're determined by the Council of Governments. And they're dependent, the color of the day is really dependent on the amount of air pollution. You usually see these in the summer months when it's hot, very humid, and the air is stagnant. And the reason that they issue these days is because for certain people, people with chronic health conditions or young children, this air pollution can be very unhealthy, and they want you to limit the amount of activity that you do outside. Code Red days are the most serious and even more unhealthy. And in fact, for anyone, regardless of whether or not you have a health condition, it can really be unsafe for you. It's particularly dangerous for athletes who are exercising in the heat, or for people that are working in the heat and doing strenuous work. Some of the things that you want to avoid during these air quality action days, Code Orange, Code Red, would be driving during the day, fueling your car during the day, using gasoline-powered engines like lawnmowers and weed whackers and things like that. You would want to limit the amount of strenuous activity that you do, or make sure that you're well hydrated if you're outside and you have to work outside. If you're concerned about whether we're having a air quality action day, Code Orange, Code Red, you can listen to the local radio stations. You can go to the county's website. You can call, the county has a 311 system. You can actually call the 311 system, and they should also have that information.
Well, cooking-related fires are the #1 cause, both here in Montgomery County and nationally. Smoking-related fires, where a cigarette has started the fire, is the #1 killer in fires. Some causes that some folks don't typically think about: candles. That's a big one. A lot of people will light the candles, they'll forget they have them lit, or they'll put them next to something that can burn. Believe it or not, they'll put them on surfaces that can burn, and the wax drips down and catches that surface on fire. Or they have pets, and again, the pets come by and knock them over. And the best thing you can do there is along the lines of cooking, is you should not leave the candles unattended. If you're going to leave the room that the candle is lit, blow it out. Make sure it's in the proper holder. And that way you can avoid it, because we all know that that's a big thing. Everyone has those wonderful scented candles, and they're all wonderful, but take those steps to help prevent the fire. The next one that people don't think a lot about are extension cords or overused plugs, outlets, and stuff like that. They hook up extension cords that aren't really built for that particular device. It's a very small extension cord, and they're hooking up TVs to it. That can overheat and cause a problem. The thing you want to remember there is any type of electrical device, whether it be TV, stereo, whatever, have on a surge protector. I think most people know them through computers. That's usually what people have their computers hooked up to. But frankly, you should have all of your high-end electrical devices hooked up to surge protectors. If your TV, for example, is not hooked up to a surge protector, the electrical surge from the power being turned back on, and with the TV being on, can cause your TV to actually catch fire or to smoke. And it's very common for our 911 center to receive multiple phone calls from folks who are indicating that their TVs have caught fire or are smoking once the power's been restored. Surge Protector will help prevent that.
The reason why we're finding down power lines is because of a weather event, whether it was a storm with high winds or maybe rain or even heavy snow. In the event that you see a down power line, we recommend strongly that you do not touch it. Don't go near this wire. Basically, because it could be energized or it could become energized. So in the event that you see a down power line, please do not touch it. Simply, this wire could be energized or become energized at any time. So stay away from that power line. At that point, you can call the utility company. If it's anywhere on your property or in the neighborhood, go ahead and call the utility company and they'll take care of reattaching it and restoring service. The only time you should call 911 in regards to a down power line if somebody's in danger. If for some reason this power line came down as a result of a tree and somebody's trapped under the tree, somebody's injured because of this tree, then you should call 911. If anybody's hurt because they touched a down power line, you should call 911. But however, just it simply wires down on the neighborhood, in your property, please go ahead and call the utility company. Stay away from that wire because, again, it might be a wire that's either energized or can become energized at any point.
Well, providing public safety is as high a priority as anything else we do. And we devote a lot of budget and people to it. We have approximately 1,100 police officers who work for the county police and about that same number who are fire and rescue career personnel and hundreds of volunteer fire and rescue personnel who have the same training as well as do the career. So we have a sizable force of first responders. We have people who are assigned in Health and Human Services to emergency response and planning, and they meet regularly with each other and they run scenarios to test their preparedness so that we do scenarios that are as realistic as we can imagine they might be. So a lot of work is done on a day-to-day basis, and the county provides hundreds of millions of dollars to these agencies, primarily to the Police Department, Fire and Rescue, who are the lead agencies in emergency preparedness planning, to make sure, along with our Office of Homeland Security, that we are looking out for anticipating what could happen and staying ahead of the curve.
The Montgomery County Emergency Operations Center was completed in 2004 with the purpose of actually allowing all of those parties that respond to an emergency to gather in one place, share information, and then set priorities for the county to bring them back to normal. There were a lot of incidents over the last few years that we've been activated for. Many of you probably remember Snowmageddon. That was an event for 8 days where this operations center was active 24/7 to help bring people back to normal. Whether it was coordinating the opening of roads, whether it was coordinating signal repair, whether it was coordinating power restoration, all of those jobs are prioritized here so that we can bring the people back to normal.
Well, obviously the one thing we're looking for is your house number, is exactly where you live. So it's important. We would love to see house numbers posted in a very visible spot with numbers about 5 inches in height, ideally, and certainly not hidden behind branches or bushes or shrubs, or again, hidden amongst the shrubs. Just somewhere where it's clearly visible from the street so that our units responding to your home can clearly see the numbers and to make sure we're going to the right place. And it also helps us, obviously, especially during snow events, if you clear the snow away from your nearest fire hydrant so we're not trying to look for it. Certainly clearing paths to your house, clearing the sidewalks, clearing the driveway, and certainly not parking in fire lanes. We have a lot of people who love to park in fire lanes for some reason, and that obviously is an impediment to our fire and rescue units potentially getting to your home, to your loved ones who are experiencing an emergency. So keep pathways clear, and that way that will make our job just a little bit easier.
With as much old pipe as we have in our distribution system, it's really tough to prevent water main breaks. Really the best way to prevent the breaks is to replace the aging pipe at the appropriate time in its life cycle. But another thing we can do is proactive maintenance. And what that would entail is inspecting the pipes, exercising the water valves in the pipes, and this helps us keep current with what pipe needs to be replaced and when. Of course, that costs some money, and if we don't have a significant increase in our budget to cover the costs of the proactive maintenance, it's much harder to do. Replacing the pipes is really the best way. WSSC customers who see water running down their street should call us at our emergency call center, which is open 24 hours, and the number is 301-206-4002, or you could just look on your water bill to find the number. We serve 1.8 million customers, and we have a large distribution system. So often our customers are our eyes and ears in the field to let us know when there's a break, and we can get there so much sooner when you call us. Keep in mind though that there are some parts of the city of Rockville, Poolesville, and the city of Bowie who have their own water systems and WSSC does not serve, so you should call the water utility that serves those areas.
Montgomery County Police really wants there to be a strong partnership between community and our officers. We need your help to be able to respond quickly to a potential crime. If you see a person who you believe does not belong in your neighborhood, if you see a car driving around that you don't expect to see in the neighborhood, if something just doesn't feel right, that's a gut instinct that you should act on. We ask that you call 911 if this is presently occurring, but if it's something that you noticed earlier and you're just thinking that it might not have been right, call the police non-emergency number at 301-279-8000. The best opportunity we have for preventing burglaries or catching burglars in the act are neighbors who are alert, know what's going on, and are prepared to call in and give us information. We have in the past been able to catch burglars while they're still in a home because an alert neighbor has taken the time, not been embarrassed or shy to call 911. We're given gut reactions to situations, and sometimes we don't want to act on them. We want to think that everything is right, that there isn't a problem, that there isn't something wrong. But if you have just an inkling of a feeling that something isn't quite right, we ask that you call, let an officer come, respond, and make that assessment.
Okay, heat stroke is a form of hyperthermia where the body temperature gets higher than normal. The important thing to remember about heat stroke is it's an emergency. It can be fatal. If you recognize that someone is having heat stroke, they need to be transported to the hospital immediately. They need to be cooled down quickly, and that will hopefully save their life. Before you see the heat stroke, you may see a heat rash, where there's a skin irritation, which can be caused by excessive sweating during hot and humid weather. The signs of heat stroke include high body temperature, absence of sweating, red or flushed dry skin, rapid pulse, difficulty breathing, and even confusion, seizures, and/or coma. The most susceptible individuals to heat stroke will be infants, the elderly, athletes, and individuals who work outside and physically exert themselves under the sun. Remember, first and foremost, cool the person and call 911.
The flash floods occur very quickly, thus the name flash. This is something that can occur actually within 5 hours of any significant rain event. We could have a flash flood in a down county area from something that occurred up county. So they happen so quickly, they catch people off guard, and people are left stranded in their vehicles or worse. It only takes 6 inches of water to knock you off your feet. So remember, turn around, don't drown. During times of flash floods, it's not the time to go out and see the water or play in the water because it's unpredictable. If you're driving in your vehicle and you see water crossing a road, don't take the risk. You might think that because you're in an SUV or a higher vehicle that you have control and you're going to be able to make it across. You have no way of predicting whether or not you're going to make it across. The Maryland National Capital Park Police and the Department of Parks have a comprehensive plan to handle flood situations in our stream valleys. This often requires us to shut down roadways and parkland adjacent to streams during a flash flood watch or a flash flood warning. If you happen to see barricades up or flares up or parked police vehicles or Department of Park vehicles, please do not enter that area. We've put those up for your safety. It's not for any other reason. And we will take them down as soon as we know that the threat of a flash flood is over.
Project Lifesaver is a program that was established nationwide to help folks that have a propensity to walk away from home or their residence and they're unable to find their way back. It could be the elderly, it could be the young with a diminished capacity. And this is a very simple program. It's using a GPS on a bracelet that's worn usually around the ankle or the wrist. They walk away from home, the system is activated, and we can locate them using the GPS. It cuts down the time spent, and we can locate this person, again, with the GPS within a few hundred yards of where they might be. They can then use a canine search dog or a group of officers to going through the location to find them. Now, if you're a caregiver for an individual that you think has a propensity to walk away, wander, and has an inability to return to their home or their residence, by all means, go on the county website, the police, and fill out the application for Project Lifesaver. It could save their life.
One of the common questions I'm asked is really, what is the difference between 311 and 911? 311 is a county system, actually, where people can call and get information about the county, about county services. This also includes, when there are trees down, maybe after a power outage or severe storm, that's the number people should call. 911 really is about life-saving emergencies. If that tree falls and it lands on somebody, that's a 911 call. If that tree lands on your house and you're not sure who's in that house, hey, that's a 911 call. But, we often find people calling 911 when some of those calls really should be forwarded to 311. The reason why we don't want people calling on is because 911 get real busy, and the more people that are calling 911 with non-life-threatening calls, it makes it that much more difficult to get to the life-threatening calls. So call 311 if it's non-life-threatening and you need county services, and obviously call 911 if you need services and you need someone to get out there and help you or your family because there is someone in a life-threatening situation.
Our last safety tip involves the Potomac River. An average of 5 people drown in the river each year. What's tricky about the Potomac River is that while it may look calm, the underwater currents are fast and furious. So if you walk in the water just to cool off, you may find yourself quickly overtaken by swift-moving currents. And then there's Great Falls. This attracts kayakers from around the world. The falls consist of cascading rapids and several 20-foot waterfalls with a 76-foot drop in elevation in less than a mile, the steepest fall line rapids of any eastern river. Inexperienced kayakers can get in trouble. So to keep safe, river safety experts recommend the following. Never swim or wade in the water. If you do get caught in the current, don't panic. Lie on your back and keep your feet and head above water. Point your feet downstream. If you see somebody struggling in the water, call 911 immediately. Extend a branch or rope to them, but do not attempt a rescue. Kayakers in the Great Falls Gorge should register with Park Service personnel. Tell friends, family, and club members your itinerary and never kayak alone. All boaters should wear a life vest. That's it for this final episode of Emergency 101. If you'd like to watch part 1 or part 2, please go to montgomerycountymd.gov/ccm and click onto On Demand Video. You'll find it under our show title, Did You Know? And here are the contacts I promised you. Thanks for watching and keep it safe.